Best-selling author Gretchen Rubin's here to tell us about her latest project. And Gretchen, it's funny because I usually have you in my ears because I listen to your podcast all the time. So now you're here in person.
That's great, yes.
I love how you quickly get to the point, and even the thing on the first page, the Habits Manifesto. Something as simple as what we do every day means more than what we do once in a while. How far does that go? What does that pertain to?
Well, you know, it turns out that habits are about 40% of everyday life. So if we have habits that work for us, we're much more likely to be happier, healthier, and more productive. And every once in a while, you know, you think, oh, today I'm going to go for a really long run. You know, I'm going to go 3 miles. Well, that 1 3-mile run isn't as good as a habit of getting regular exercise most days. And so when we think about that scaffolding of our life, then we can figure out ways to really make ourselves happier and healthier.
How did you figure all this out? How did you get to the point of being able to kind of discover this and then share it with everyone else?
Well, I've been thinking about happiness for years, and I realized that a lot of times when people talked about a happiness challenge, they're really talking about a problem with a habit. Like, I'm exhausted all the time. Well, that's about the habit of getting enough sleep. So I became really drawn to trying to understand how to use habits to transform our lives. Like, how could they become a tool, which they really are, because they make it so much easier to do the things that make us feel good.
It really is. I mean, like, if you think about it, like, that daily part, that one thing that you do every day, it adds up after a while, right?
Absolutely. And that's the thing, is to really look at how, because any one day you could say, like, well, what's one trip to the gym? What's one brownie? But it's the way that you have a healthy life is by going to the gym consistently and not eating sugar every single day.
On the back of the book here, it says, why do we find it tough to create a habit for something we love to do?
Yes.
Which seems like opposite, like, oh, I love to do this.
Yes.
But it is very difficult to change your behavior for something that you actually enjoy.
Right. The fact that you do or don't want to do something doesn't really matter that much. And so when I go through and I try to define the 21 strategies that people can use to make and break habits, you don't focus on how much you like it or don't like it. It's more about, well, what are the strategies that you can use to cement that behavior into place? Because so often people say, why is it that I never go bike riding? I love to go bike riding, and I know I'd feel great if I went bike riding. And yet, because they haven't worked on creating that habit, it doesn't happen.
Well, we'll always look for excuses because our lifestyle, our work schedule makes it super difficult for us to get the sleep we need.
Yes.
So everyone has excuses. How do we break out of that?
Yeah, well, among the 21 strategies, there are 2 that have to do. One is with safeguards, which is plan to fail. Like, you know, okay, what's going to be trouble when I'm traveling, when it's the holidays, when it's my birthday. So how do you plan to fail? And then also loophole spotting, which is we're so good at making up excuses for stuff. It's my birthday. I'm on vacation. You know, it's going to hurt your feelings if I don't eat this. And if we can spot those loopholes, then a lot of times we can reject them. Like, oh, the label says it's healthy, it must be healthy. Really? Maybe not, you know?
The Happiness Project, one of my favorite books. I think it was absolutely fantastic. The way you went through and you tried all these things, and it was very funny.
Oh, good.
It was very funny as well. I loved it.
I love to experiment on myself.
Are you happy? That's the question.
That's the question.
Are you happy?
What about you?
I'm pretty happy, I gotta say.
All right. You sold a few books. So well, that's just one part.
That helps, yeah.
Gretchen, so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. What an interesting book.
Yeah.
Better than before.
Listen to the podcast. I'm telling you, the podcast is fantastic. It's
Oh.
like a little weekly, bi-weekly kind of push to be happier and try different stuff. I love it.
Thank you.
But on the podcast, if it's all about happiness, do you have to speak in a certain tone? Does it have to be all, and if you're looking for your happiness today, does it have to be like that?
No,
it's not like
spa.
that. Yes, exactly.
I don't have to use spa voice, no.
Gretchen Rubin, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. The book is Better Than Before.